Somewhere along your spiritual path, you stopped. It wasn't a fall. It wasn't a breakdown. It was like the ground beneath you quietly vanished, and all that remained was silence. Before that, maybe you had a profound insight, a shift, a breaking open of reality. You saw the patterns, the illusions, the noise, and then it all went quiet. At first it felt divine, empowering, even, but slowly, almost imperceptibly, the meaning started to fade. Not in flames, not in drama, just vanished, and now, nothing feels urgent, nothing feels worth chasing. It's not laziness, it's not apathy, it's a kind of sacred stillness, mixed with the quiet question, why do I feel so numb? After finally seeing the truth, the answer isn't that you're lost, the answer is you're in between. You're no longer who you were, but not yet who you're becoming. And in that in-between space, the old motivation system breaks down. Your ego, the one that used to push, prove, and perform, lost its script. You're not failing, you're evolving. But evolution doesn't look like fireworks. It looks like stillness, it looks like silence, and it feels like emptiness. What no one tells you is that awakening isn't a rush, it's a reset. Your soul pulled the emergency brake, said, you've seen enough, now stop, and remember who you are underneath all this noise. It's terrifying, because the world doesn't stop with you. Everyone else keeps moving, hustling, chasing. You watch them, and somewhere inside you feel disconnected. The goals you used to have don't spark anything. The plans that once gave you purpose now feel absurd. But this isn't failure, it's detox. You're detoxing from years of conditioning, from the belief that worth is tied to productivity. You're not lazy, you're disoriented. Because the compass that once guided you, fear, success, validation, has stopped working. And what's replacing it doesn't speak in commands. It whispers. Most people think spiritual awakening brings light, joy, passion, but often the truth comes first as destruction. You lose your taste for everything that once fed the false self. Carl Jung spoke of this as the night sea journey, the descent into the unknown after glimpsing what's real. It's not glamorous, it's not postable, it's raw, it's quiet. It's the space where the ego panics because it's no longer in control and the soul hasn't fully stepped in. You're not broken, you're dissolving. The old you is melting. And in that space you don't have motivation, because the old fuel is gone, that you were driven by identity, image, validation, even pain. That drive helped you survive, but now, you see through it, and you can't pretend anymore. That's the paradox. Awakening reveals the illusion, but doesn't instantly replace it with purpose. That part takes time. The cocoon phase, the caterpillar is gone. The butterfly hasn't formed your goo. And goo doesn't get *T done. Goo doesn't perform, it pauses, it listens, it waits. This is where the ego freaks out. But your soul, it's building something deeper than goals. It's creating alignment. That's why nothing external seems to move you now. It's not depression, it's transition. The sacred pause. But in a hyperproductive world, pause is labeled as weakness. Stillness is mistaken for being stuck. You might even start judging yourself, and that judgment becomes the wall blocking your true rebirth. Jung called this enantiodromia, when things flip into their opposite. You went from high-speed striving to stillness. From seeking meaning outside to searching within. This swing isn't failure, it's sacred. Most modern spirituality, it skips this phase. They tell you to follow your joy or just raise your vibration. But Jung knew, if you skip the dark, you skip the transformation. This phase, this void, is where your unconscious finally has room to rise. That's why your energy is low, why your spark feels gone. You're not malfunctioning, you're integrating. And the psyche is wise, it will shut down your drive if that drive is leading you away from your truth. That's not sabotage, that's soul defense. And here's the twist. If you stop resisting this nothingness, something strange happens. A new kind of motivation begins to surface. It doesn't roar, it hums. It's not frantic, it's focused. It doesn't come from fear or proving, it comes from resonance. Instead of chasing what looks good, you begin to move toward what feels real. You start saying no to noise, even if the world says it's valuable. You start saying yes to what pulls you from within, even if no one else understands. That is alignment. That is soul. That no, it won't look like the old you. You might not hustle like before. You might not care about the same milestones. But something deeper is emerging, a self that isn't performing anymore. It's expressing. This new motivation doesn't burn out. It doesn't depend on applause. It's quiet, but unshakable. Jung called this the symbolic life, living in connection with your soul, your dreams, your archetypes, your truth. And when that becomes your compass, you don't need to force clarity. You recognize it when it shows up. So what does that look like? Sometimes it means changing your questions. Instead of what should I do, you ask, what's quietly calling me? Instead of what's the plan, you ask, where am I being pulled? Instead of how do I prove myself, you ask, what feels honest right now? And you begin to live from a different center, a deeper one. Not for status, not for approval, but for wholeness, for truth. And ironically, that energy moves. mountains not through pressure but through presence. If you've been feeling like your spark is gone after awakening, hear this. The old fire had to burn down. It wasn't your true source. It was survival. And now, something deeper is being lit. The kind of flame that doesn't flicker when life gets hard. The kind that glows from the inside. Carl Jung didn't promise comfort, but he pointed to transformation. And if you're here, still listening, still walking, you're already in it. You don't need to get back your old drive. You need to find the one you were always meant to live from. And if this message helped name something inside you, drop a comment below. I'd love to know what this journey has felt like for you. And if you want more content like this, where we explore soul, psyche, and awakening in ways that actually make sense for real life, subscribe to Fractal Wisdom, because awakening isn't the final chapter. It's where the real story begins.